I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I am filling in for Village President Jeff Knudsen, who is out of state traveling. We'll start with a roll call, Mackenzie.
Commissioner Grabowski.
Here.
Commissioner Hoff. Here. Commissioner Bell.
Here.
Commissioner Jelassic. Here. Commissioner Liebert.
Here.
And Trustee Rhodey.
Here. We have three public hearings. I will call each individual item, read the description, then ask for any comments that the public wants to make. Public hearing A, conditional use grant request of applicant Aspen Homes Incorporated to construct a multifamily building, i.e. duplex. A multifamily building is only permissible through the issuance of conditional use grant based on section 40.265. This request is located at 203 East Wisconsin Avenue. The tax number is PWV 0899982. This .316 acre parcel is zoned B2 Downtown Business District. The property is owned by Joanne and Dwight Zeller. The applicant is Aspen Homes Incorporated, Brandon Basso. Is there any members of the public that would like to comment? If you are going to comment, you have to come to the podium, state your name and address. Anybody that would like to comment? Okay, I will close that item then and move on to public hearing B. Conditional use grant request of applicant Aspen Homes Incorporated to construct a single-family home. The proposed home requires reduced setbacks, which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant on a legal, non-conforming lot, again, section 40.210. This .115 acre parcel located at 247 Park Avenue, tax key PWV 0899214, is zoned R5 residential, detached district with a lakefront overlay. Property owner is Megan and Luke Porath. The applicant is Aspen's Home Incorporated, Shelley Basso. Is there anybody in the public that would like to speak on this item? If you could come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
I am Luke Porth, 247 Park Avenue. I'm the owner of the property. I'm here with my wife, Megan, future Pirates, Brooks and Cosette. We're asking you to consider our conditional use grant for demolition and rebuilding of our home at 247 Park Avenue. I can give you a little history of how we got here today. Our family started just renting boats on the lake and then just enjoyed our time on Pewaukee Lake for years now. And ultimately 3 years ago, we're presented an opportunity to buy and took the risk to buy a property at 247 Park Avenue, essentially a blighted and vacant property, and put blood, sweat, and tears into that property so that we could use it the last 2 summers. Our family has enjoyed this last 2 summers immensely with our family and friends, but ultimately we didn't want to go back to our home in Wauwatosa. So we're decided to take another risk, make it our full-time residence. That being said, the home is not conducive to year-round, full-time use for our growing family and stay-at-home work space. So we're asking you to consider the conditional use grant to expand the home. Considerations are from the commission here on the setbacks. The rear yard setback is currently 15 feet. We're asking to go to 11. It's consistent with the neighboring properties. The neighbor to it would be the southwest is 16. The neighbor to the northeast is 10. On average, that's 13. We're at 11 at the closest point as the wall meanders. The furthest point we're at 15, so we're averaging 13.3, which is the same as both the average of both neighboring properties. We're asking for the front setback off the road to be consistent with where it is today, to allow for parking. There is limited parking in that area where the S-curve hits on Park Avenue. So the additional setback allows us to park cars off the street, and then when we have overnight guests, allows us to stage some cars on our driveway. The need for the expanded space, we're currently in a floodplain, so we cannot build or expand the property as is, so we need to reconstruct. Also, we are limited to in our ability to build a basement, so a lot of that extra space needs to be built above ground. So these kids can have some room to spread out and play. Mom can work, and I can enjoy my time alone once in a while.
He's going to have a chance to speak because he's the applicant.
Not necessarily, unless the commission.
Okay, okay.
This is his.
Okay.
So we're getting close to the 3-minute limit.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so, and again, if the commission wants to hear from you, we will, you'll be able to talk during your period of time with the commission's
Okay.
approval.
All right, well, thank you for your time, and available for questions as they
Okay,
arise.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any other public comment on public hearing B?
I just wanted to say that I'm Shelley from Aspen Homes, and I'm here for any other questions as well.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, with that, I will close that public hearing and go to public hearing on item C, conditional use grant request of applicant Kevin and Annette Bogus to construct a 1,250 square foot attached garage and second-story living space. This structure is proposed at 2.58 feet from Kupmeyer Drive setback, which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant on a legal non-conforming lot, section 40.210 4A. This 0.149 acre parcel located at 616 Kupmeyer Drive, tax key PWV 0894044, is zoned R5, low residential, detached district lakefront overlay. Property owners and applicants are Kevin and Annette Bogus. I will also mention that due to travel restrictions coming back from out of state, they were not able to make this meeting. So is there any other public comments in regard to item C? Okay, no public comments. I will close that public hearing then on those items. We will move into agenda item number 2, citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with commission members on any topic they choose. However, due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the commission is not able to answer questions or respond to your comments. All comments should be directed to the commission. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers are asked to use the podium and state their name and address. Is there any citizens that would like to comment on anything? Yes, sir. If you could, Scott, if you could give your name and your address.
I'm Scott Bartlett. I live at 175 East Wisconsin Avenue. I'm just concerned about, are there any changes made to the setbacks or anything on the new property at 203 East Wisconsin? I believe I don't know exactly where the lot line is. My garage is like sitting right on the property line, but I don't know 100% where it is, but I've actually been told it's like right there, something that was built like 100 years ago. That's my biggest concern about it, is how close is these things going to be together?
There will be discussions as part of that session item when the meeting in regard to setbacks.
Okay.
Okay? Any other citizen comments? Okay, with that, we'll go to item number 3, which is the approval of the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting of October 9th, 2025. Did everybody have a chance to review those minutes? Was there any changes, or do I have a motion to accept as written?
Liebert, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 9th, 2025.
Okay, we have a motion with a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, then the motion to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No one. Meeting minutes of October 9th are approved. We go to 4, old business. There is no old business. We go to 5, new business. First item is review, discussion, and possible action on the conditional use request of applicant Aspen Homes Incorporated to construct a multifamily building duplex. A multifamily building is only permissible through the issuance of a conditional use grant according to section 40.265. This request is located at 203 East Wisconsin Avenue, property keep PWV 0899987. This 0.316 acre parcel is owned B2 Downtown Business District. Property is owned by Joanne and Dwight Zeller, and the applicant is Aspen Homes, representing it's Braden Basso. So going to that item then, planner, and I don't know if the village administrator is handling any comments in regard to from Dave from the DPW?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to
Okay, okay, good.
Okay. Thank you. Just quick overview of this. This parcel was originally approved for construction of a duplex back in 2022. Obviously, the duplex was never constructed at that time. New applicant is coming forward looking to, again, still build a duplex, although slightly different layout design than what was previously approved. Because of those slight changes, they are coming back through the process for a new conditional use permit. I'm sure as the commission is familiar, this has that old barn on it, which actually is in the process of being demolished now. So the applicant is looking to build a new side-by-side duplex. If I can get this computer to cooperate. What's going on with this thing today? There we go. So in front of you, I have kind of the plans for what is being proposed. The original approval in 22, I'm going to try to go to this northeast picture here, was more of a traditional mirrored side-by-side duplex. The applicant is now coming forward with a new design that is a little more architectural relief and varied front elevation. That is the primary change, which we have them coming back for Plan Commission approval, because that design did change. As I said, the prior one was just that traditional mirrored duplex style. This has a little more relief, a little more design, a little more character to it. That is really the primary change. I know there was a lot of consideration and discussion back in 2022 about access. Originally, they were trying to access through the rear, through like a private easement alley. That was scrapped. They were going to access just off of Wisconsin Avenue. This proposal maintains that. All access is off the front, off Wisconsin Avenue, as was originally approved back in that 2022 approval. It's really just a matter of that elevations changing and slight modification of what it's going to look like. Site plan. This computer is, I'm struggling with it today, guys, is really unchanged in terms of the layout. It's occupying largely the same exact place on the property as what was previously approved.
Can you, the setbacks on the east and west, can you just give those measurements on those?
So on the, let's see, that would be the west is 14.02 feet. And on the east would be 13.78. So it's actually moving in quite a bit. The old structure on the east was almost right up to the property line. On the west, it was maybe a foot or two off. So it's being brought in to be in compliance with the required setbacks would be. So significantly farther from the property lines than what previously was there.
What's coming in and going up?
So the height of the new structure is not that much different from the prior approval. Let's see if I can find that. But it is, yes, both the originally approved 2022 duplex and the currently approved 2025 duplex are obviously much higher than the structure that was out there today. And then with the grade changes, you go to the back of the site. Obviously, that rear elevation is basically almost 3 stories because of the grade changes. You go you know, to the backside of that site. So on the backside, there's what, you know, on the, almost looks like a first floor deck. Really, beyond the back, it becomes a second floor deck because of how steep that grade changes in the rear.
Is the new, the new updated material, is the front of the house now considered flush? Both? Or there's still,
There's some staggered relief to it.
From the one garage to the second garage,
Yep.
there's a little setback.
you could see that via shadowing in the 2022, but not in the current one.
Unfortunately, the site plan does not want to render when I pull it up here, but there is a 1 foot relief, basically, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, between the left and the right garage doors.
In the last approval, I believe, we discussed having to leave a strip to separate the driveways? Is that, or did we not? I know it was discussed, I'm trying to remember if did we scrap it?
Scrapped it because we were doing that because there was apparently something about a length of a curb cut we weren't allowed to exceed, so we were going to leave a strip in the middle and.
Oh,
but
and
then
leave like a little curve?
Yeah, but then I
Okay.
think we just scrapped
Okay.
it all. I think at that
I just
point
wanted to
in time,
make sure
from the
that if we.
allowing
Yep.
the curb cut to be the whole length of the
And
driveway.
historically, those have been very difficult to maintain long-term with shoveling and snow plowing. You end up killing that grass, it's hard to maintain a
I think
viable.
that's why we.
Totally
we didn't
agreed,
like it.
yeah, but, okay, I just wanted to make sure we stayed consistent and changed as little as possible on the approval.
Can I ask a question on that?
Is the commission all right with allowing them to talk?
I don't have any more questions.
No, okay, go ahead.
Regarding the curb cut, I was under the understanding that we could only have one driveway approach. And then we'd have to, that would be 24 feet wide max, and then we'd have to split it. Is it possible to make the curb cut wider and have two like, in essence, two standard driveways so that you didn't have to jockey around?
I thought that's what we approved back in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we approved for that. In
Couple
fact,
years
yeah,
ago?
but according to the public, to a public works director's notes, it apparently doesn't line up now. Because they repaved it at
There's
that
an
time.
old one there, yeah, that's way off, that's closer to his garage. There's an old approach.
Okay, but I thought they put it in. Didn't they put it? They didn't put it in.
That's been closed and rebuilt.
Well, I know, but when they redid the street, I thought it got put in. Sorry.
We closed all that off and had the laterals put in already.
Can you
Okay.
identify,
Closed the
can you,
entire-
Oh, sorry.
ma'am, can you identify yourself, please?
Name and address, please.
Thank you.
Dan Seltner.
Thank you.
So we did close all that off already and had that all poured ahead of time with the project on the street.
Yeah,
So it's completely closed off now, but it was approved for a double wide driveway.
right.
That's it.
So we had your
Yeah.
laterals are in, but you just don't have. You guys just put the curb in. The curb cuts in.
We
Yeah.
did have
Okay.
curbs closed off both ends, because the openings were actually on both the ends, or they were on the ends.
Yeah.
So currently, it's all curb, and then you guys are gonna curb cut when the property's built. Okay.
Driveway.
I believe that there's an approach closer to.
Okay. But I think it all has to be redone. Right? So, yeah.
Probably closed, but there's a curb on it. It says that on the.
No, we closed that up when the laterals were put in.
Okay.
No issues.
Says an existing, your recommendations and comments state that there's an existing driveway opening and the concrete curb and gutter is located but does not allow.
That was since done when the laterals were placed. The approval was done. The approval was done, then the laterals were placed. So that was at the time before the laterals were placed.
Yeah.
These just came out today.
Yeah. So either way, in these, I think he's just recommending that that going forward, when you have to adjust it, make sure it's done to village specifications. That's all it is. Then when you do have to make the cut.
Yeah, the driveway and the curb cutting and all that, that's a separate right-of-way permit, driveway permit procedure
Yeah.
anyway. So,
And they'll know that we can go more than 25.
I'm pulling up the original.
We put
Well,
that
what
on
did
the
we-
survey because we were told that
by who?
recommendations from 2022
Okay.
paperwork said something about that, so.
Yeah.
See that prior approval plan?
I got it pulled up right now. I'm trying to find it as well.
It should be in all of my documentation because I provided it all.
Yep.
So yeah, I believe Tim at the time had that in his concerns because at the time we only allowed 24-foot driveways, and that's where the whole median and the whole thing came into play, and that's why we're trying to get around it. But I think ultimately in the end, we just allowed it to just be the full width.
Because it was a
Yeah,
non-conforming.
it was non-conforming anyway, so we just eliminated that to just eliminate the whole confusion.
Yeah. Yeah, without, so the full 24, so it would have been this large, but because you had to have the two driveways, it would have had that little piece. So then we said, well, what if we didn't do that little piece? What if, because there's it looked, I think it was more of an offset before than just 1 foot, then that's when we talked about putting in that strip to say that there are two separate entities here, two separate driveways, even though there's one opening always. Then we discussed further and said, just get rid of, just a non-conforming lot regardless, have the whole front driveway open.
Can we just, for instance, can we just put that in the condition without even going, just in
Reviewing it?
case, just to cover it?
You could modify the standard driveway specifications. I think you have that leeway under your code because this is a.
So we could just add that into the, we could just add that into the approval then, right?
Is it in the
And
minutes?
just make it
That's what I was
easy.
just gonna try
Okay,
to pull
let's just
up.
do that. Because I don't think anyone has any issue with it, right? All right.
Did you find it, planner?
It's not shown on the plans, but you said you have the minutes, Shelley?
I had your minutes from the 2022 meeting, and I submitted that with my packet. I don't
Remember when that meeting is?
Okay, I
have
see the
multiple.
report,
Yep,
but I
only
don't see
minutes.
the.
There's like approval, conditional approvals, and it says what you can do. But either way, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it
so if
doesn't
we
matter.
just
If
read,
you guys
if
are
we,
okay with it, that's
Yeah.
great. That's all I want to know
What's
is
the
that
date of May?
if it's written somewhere and documented, that I can do it.
Do we have, does it say when that meeting was?
May 12th, 2022.
does anyone else have anything besides that?
Yeah, I go to July of the 22. That's when I got this.
If any,
right.
I'll make
Go for it.
I'll make a motion. I'm sorry.
Just one, Matt, was there anything that we needed to cover from DPW?
On this one, I think we were fine.
Yeah, so, thank you, Chairman Rhodey. So the DPW did provide some comments. For this particular proposal, there are 9 comments. I don't know if Attorney Grulinski has any exceptions with these 9?
I don't on this proposal, on this conditional use. So the commission is aware that you have restrictions on what types of conditions you can impose. They have to be reasonably related to the purpose of our ordinance and the purpose of the use that we're looking at. Here you're looking, the conditional use looking to be approved is a multifamily use. I think the conditions that the DPW has put forth are consistent and appropriate for this type of use. I just wanted to highlight that because I don't have the same determination on a future agenda item. So I just want to make a distinction here that these conditions, I believe, are appropriate. If the commission is inclined to impose them, I think you have the authority to do so.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use grant for the property at 203 East Wisconsin with the.
Underscore that.
I'll try that again. All right. Caps lock. I'm making a motion to approve the conditional use grant for the property at 203 East Wisconsin, incorporating the Director of Public Works comments and the planner's comments, and in addition, allowing for a full width.
So to that point, looking at the minutes from the May 22 approval, what this commission approved was an overall driveway not to exceed 50 feet in width.
And an overall driveway not to exceed 50 feet in width.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion with a second. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question on the
Sure.
It really doesn't change or discussion. I didn't know if you wanted this before or after, but there's a couple on your 9 comments. The parking spaces, it says sandblasting and restriping will be needed. Is that work that we're supposed to do in the street?
Matt?
That would be,
It's up here.
Item
It's
number
comment
2.
number 2. Yeah, I think he was recommending that the
That it,
the
that it be done
developer
as part of
include
the
that,
project by the developer.
if you cut it out though, if it's on the curb.
Parking stripes.
Oh, the parking stripes?
Like, I've never done road work on your city roads.
You'll
So-
just have to hire
What-
someone.
We could
to do
take,
it.
we probably could discuss that after.
Yeah.
That's probably meant for
So
discussion
anything
afterwards.
that's going on in the village right-of-way is going to be, you're going to need to pursue right-of-way and driveway permits with the DPW anyway. So he'll work with you on that procedure.
yeah.
Handle as part of the right-of-way permit.
It would be part of the right-of-way permit. I think he put it in there not only to include as a condition from this commission, but also to make you aware that when you do the right-of-way permit and the driveway permit, which you would have had to anyway, that he's going to probably make that a condition of the right.
Okay, and then the one other question I have is that it says, in item number 6 and 7, it says an easement is labeled along the back lot line. Please label the type of easement and add documentation. And that is something that we can't provide. If you go back to the 2022, that was the reason why they weren't allowed to use that easement as a driveway, because
There was no
it's
documentation.
expired or something. So I can't put that on the survey. And then the other thing is, it says add floodplain location and elevation, and the property is not located in a floodplain.
That's all you gotta say.
Back of the lot is though, however, in the floodplain, is it not?
Don't believe it is,
Thought this one
according to
was.
prior surveys.
If you have a survey that shows that it's not, then I
I
think
thought it was the
I could-
easement part that was in the floodplain. Easement would be part of the floodplain.
That would be.
Yes, it's right here. It's outside of it.
this property, right?
Just this property here, yep. Yeah, it's well behind the easement.
So it's not part of the building.
Well, good news, you don't have to label it, it's not
That's
there.
page 5 of our packet.
So I think what the DPW director there is just looking for a response. It's a technical comment, so if you provide that response to him, I would assume that it's satisfactory. Right, right. So it'll be reflected in the minutes, and either, I guess, you will work with him or staff will, so thank you for making that clear. All right?
Thank you. That item has been approved. We're going to be going to item B in new business right now. Review, discussion, and possible action on a conditional use grant request of applicant Aspen Homes Incorporated to construct a single-family home. The proposed home requires reduced setbacks, which are permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant on a legal non-conforming lot based on section 40.210. This .115 acre parcel located at 247 Park Avenue, tax key PWV 0899219, is zoned R5, residential detached district with a lakefront overlay. Property owner are Megan and Luke Orith, and applicant is Aspen Homes Incorporated. Shelley is again representing Aspen Homes. Planners' comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have a situation where we have a legal non-conforming R5 lot within the lakefront overlay district. As you know, we have had many times over the years, there are the ability to obtain a CUG for properties that are legal non-conforming. In this case, the property has a number of legal non-conforming aspects with its existing setbacks. So the applicant is asking to seek a conditional use permit to further reduce some of the setbacks, but then also be able to remove the existing single-family residence and construct a new residence. Essentially, they are asking for, as I've got them outlined here, to maintain the minimum building setback on the front property line of 5.75 feet, where the code requires 35. Existing structure right now is at that 5.75. On the southwest side, they're asking to slightly decrease from the required 10 feet to 7.2 feet, whereas the existing today is 7.24, so very minor decrease there. To reduce the required rear yard offset from the existing 16.03 feet to 11.77, where code requires 25. And then to reduce the northeast setback on their side yard, where code requires 10 feet, they are looking to change it from 26.77 feet to 8.75. So essentially asking for conditional uses to reduce the setbacks on all four sides of the structure. Resulting in that is also then a request to increase the maximum allowed impervious surface for the lot. Because by fully maxing out all of those setbacks, they would increase over what was typically permitted in that district. Looking at, the area in context around the structure, it is not out of character with a lot of what is already out there. Most of those lake home lots along Park Avenue are legal nonconforming in many aspects, lot coverage, setbacks. Almost none of them meet our, traditional R5 standards that we would look at. So, and some have been rebuilt in the past, so this again is not uncommon what is already out there. The only real, kind of comment or question I had that I really think should be considered for Plan Commission is that northeast setback, where they're going from approximately the 26 feet that it is today to a substandard. You have one side that is currently conforming and you're asking to reduce that further. I think there could be an argument, or Plan Commission should really think, but should that one be held at 10 feet? Okay, we're given more on the others. We're allowing you essentially 16 feet of additional building space. Is it really necessary to grant that additional 1.25 foot reduction on that northwest side? It may be appropriate, and Plan Commission ultimately can make that final determination. But I think that of looking at the development in the area, that's the one that really sticks out to me is that one warranted? I think there should be some additional consideration given for that. Because I think an argument could be made that maybe hold to one side being the 10 feet and grant all the other reductions. It does then shrink the building a little bit, which would put it closer in conformity with the maximum allowed building area, because this is quite a bit over that maximum allowed building area if you reduce all of those offsets. Again, otherwise, we did have elevations for you. Nice looking structure, meets all of our code requirements in terms of design standards. This laptop today does not want to render a lot of my PDFs. I'm not sure what's going on. There's a site plan in here, but it doesn't want to load. So we just have the elevations then here for you. Said pretty decent looking structure, would be a decent fit with the neighborhood. Building height of the proposed new building is similar to the existing building, but the massing obviously expands north along over what is today. Today, it's kind of a two-story structure on one side, and then as you move north, gets into a single story. This would maintain that higher elevation further along the massing of the structure. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yes, I have questions on the storm sewer. So the storm sewer that's referred to in Dave's comments, but also I think there's a 12-inch concrete pipe shown on the plan. Is that the storm sewer he's referring to? And if so, it doesn't appear to be on this property, it appears to be on the property next to it. Is that correct?
It is, I can confirm.
It's on the property
It's
next
literally 3 feet on the next adjacent property.
To the north, I'm gonna call it the
Yeah.
north.
Yeah.
And then that building looks like it's
Yeah,
2.9 feet from the storm sewer?
The foundation of that building is almost, there's probably 6-inch separation between the wall of the pipe and the foundation of the adjacent building, the adjacent house.
So I guess my concern is, his concern about leaving 17 feet, which, I know is wide, doesn't seem right if the property that it's on doesn't have enough width to replace it to begin with. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get past that guy's foundation, no matter what.
I'm gonna bring in Attorney Gerlinski here a little bit, because I know he did have some.
So I made reference to this in the last agenda item. There's comments on this particular application that I think some appropriate context needs to be provided to the commission as to what exactly you're looking at and approving with this conditional use. The last agenda item was a conditional use to approve a multifamily use. That's a very broad use. There's a lot of things that you can impose on conditions when you're looking at mitigating impacts from that type of use. What you're looking at with this agenda item, though, is very narrow. The conditional use you're approving is a reduction in building setbacks. So you have to look at any conditions you're going to impose through that lens. How is the reduction in setbacks that are being proposed, how would a condition that you would like to impose mitigate that particular use? It's not the project as a whole, it's the reduced setbacks. There's a number of conditions that the DPW have proposed here that frankly, I don't think are appropriate based on that standard and the standard that the statute sets forth on what you can impose. I've made Director Beagle aware of that, so this is not news to him. But as you consider these, and I know Commissioner Jelassic brought this up, so this is a good segue. As you consider these conditions, frankly, I'm going to recommend that a number of them not be adopted by the commission in the event you do move forward with an approval. And I can, when you make a motion, I can repeat what I'm going to say now, but essentially conditions 1, 2, 7, 9, and 10, I don't believe have a reasonable nexus to the reduced setbacks that are being proposed here. That's just my opinion based on my reading of the statute and what authority you have to impose conditions. But those are the numbers. The subject matter is on 1, the televising of the sewer. On 2, the conveyance of an easement to the village for a storm sewer. On 7, the location of the driveway really has nothing to do with the reduction in setbacks. That is something that would be handled through a separate right-of-way procedure, permitting procedure, driveway procedure. Title report I don't see as necessary or an appropriate condition. The removal of the tree as proposed has nothing to do with the reduced setbacks. So I can answer questions on that, but I did just want to make that position and recommendation at the outset before we get too deep in the weeds on those conditions that, frankly, I don't think you have the authority to impose those on this type of conditional use.
How about number 3? I mean, number 3 seems to be a large what if, and I have an issue that if we, as a village, choose to neglect our stormwater infrastructure, we make it the residents' problem to handle that.
Number 3, I omitted from my, I guess,
Right.
list of concerns, because I think there is enough nexus there where you could make an argument that the proposed setbacks, which is the use you're looking at, directly impact that condition, are directly impacted by the condition or the concern that the DPW director is raising there. So I think that would be an appropriate matter to address.
I assume, Director Beagle, is, you know, if, and I'm talking about number 3, so if the water does come out of the catch basin in a large storm, right now it has a lot of room that it probably goes out to the lake, you know, unless the lake is flooded. I mean, that's a different scenario. And so this would lessen it. I think he just wants to make the property owner aware that maybe a little grading on that side would help the water get out to the lake. I mean, I don't think he's making I think he's just trying to warn them that if there's that many catch basins truly there, that is obviously a low point and the water needs to go somewhere if it can't get in there.
I mean, I guess on that one, if the commission's fine, I don't know if the applicant has had a chance to review that particular condition and if they have any comments on that. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's a perfectly valid response.
I'll speak it because as someone intimately familiar with the area, because I literally live right there. across the street and next to it. This area, as the planner has stated, is a tight, and everybody in that area is legal non-conforming. With regards to impervious surfaces, I believe this property, as proposed, would probably have the most impervious, the most pervious surface out of 6 or 7 properties along the way. Nobody on that area there has any sort of grass or any sort of other drainage there. The property immediately to the I hate doing the southwest, southeast. The southwest there has almost zero. It's literally pavement the entire way through. You go next to that, there's the 2 boathouses that have small amounts of grass. You go next to that, the other property literally has, I think they have a flower bed in the front, and that's it. All the rest of it, it's impervious surface from the street to the lake. As far as the setbacks, I mean, just to gain a little bit more pervious surface there on the one side there, I mean, what's 1.5 foot? I don't know if that's going to gain us anything, truthfully. I mean, all these properties up and down Park, especially in this area where before the S-curve, where the lots are tight, it's the way it is. It's just tight lots, and you know, there's tight lots and high water tables, and there's really only so much you could put in there. And I believe that they've maximized this while still respecting the area and the setbacks as best they can.
Any other point of views from the commissioners?
You know, I think us as commissioners, you know, we got to look at prior things too. And like, I think, you know, we denied a CUG for 9 inches just down the road, you know, last year for the gentleman putting the flat top roof, because it was going to be, he wanted 9 more inches to go closer to the water main that was there on the road.
Oh, we're talking about.
And we didn't, he was gonna be 9 inches past the 10-foot setback, and we said no.
That was the one at the end.
Yeah.
I feel like we said
And part of that was because of the lateral, right?
Was. Yep.
Which I don't wanna bring the lateral up, kind of, but, but, you
My
know,
concern is imposing a condition where we're having an applicant convey an easement to us. That's,
Right.
I don't think
Right.
that's appropriate. I think discussion of potential impact is fine.
so, you know, we wouldn't give 9 inches past the, past the, you know, legal setback. And now we're going like 16 feet,
we're not
right?
going 16 feet.
Well,
the code allows 10 on that side.
the code allows 10, so he's asking for an additional 1.5 feet,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, but that, I believe the extenuating, the circumstances are different with a house and a setback allowing it, where his was going to extending into what would be almost like a public right-of-way. And that was the issue, was that he wanted to infringe on the public right-of-way because he was up against that street. So,
Wasn't it the driveway for the building?
I think it was a post.
but no, that's an extension of Lake Street. So that's Lake Street that goes.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's, so he wanted to infringe more closer to the right-of-way that was going to be, that was the concern. And the fact was that we felt like it was, I don't want to say egregious, but it was like the 9 inches of a carport, like,
Right.
means nothing to a carport, but it means a lot to allow it for the village to allow that into the right of way and set a precedence, which I think was where we kind of, I see what you're saying, but
Right.
I think,
No, I agree.
there are enough differences there to identify.
But I think that we're, you know, also respecting the setbacks, right? Like, I understand all these lots are non-conforming, but I think we still need to be conscious of those setbacks and be as least non-conforming as possible, right? Is my
Okay,
2
so
cents.
we have 2 different points of view. I guess, is everybody all right hearing from the owner again? In regard to probably the thing that would be important for us to understand is why the additional 1.5 feet and why it would create, you know, issues for you if you did not have that.
I guess I have a question for the commission. Would the consideration be different if we slid the foot and a quarter over, and we had 6 feet on one side and 10 feet on the other.
For me, no, because I think that then you're going more non-conforming on the other side. Like, you know, I would definitely rather you stay as not, because you're, you know, your west side, you're staying in the same spot. We'll say, you know, 0.4 feet, right? Or is it actually going, it's actually becoming
It's
less.
like 3 inches further.
For all intents and purposes.
Yes,
Yeah.
same spot.
Right? And then you're moving X number of feet that way where you have the ability to stay conforming on that side. Like I'd rather you not go less conforming on one to stay conforming on the other, right? That's my personal opinion.
That was my.
Okay, and other point of views from commissioners?
And I personally, I don't have a problem with the 8.75, but what he just said about moving this way, then he's going towards an 11-foot access for someone across the street, correct?
That's me.
Okay, so, okay, my point is, I'd rather have him go towards a non-house than go towards a house, so,
Yeah.
you know, I have no problem with him shifting and putting the 6 feet on this side and making us 10 on the other, because this way, he's going closer to that house that's really right next to their property. And the other way, he's just going towards his access to the lake. I'm just saying, it's not a bad
You're not
idea.
gonna build a shed there, right?
Yeah, I mean, so to that credit, like to that point,
Yeah. While we're on that topic, I got plans. No, I'm just kidding.
A little skinny house,
Now,
Just make sure it's movable.
to that point, that there is nothing that can be constructed on that lot because it's going to have to stay open.
Right.
So it does, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it does keep setbacks between full-time house properties that are, you know, actual houses, actual structures, because there's really no, it basically counts as an open yard, open space there, so.
Okay, I guess I'll express my opinion. I find myself similar to what Commissioner Grabowski was talking about. All the lots are non-conforming in the area, some of them with very little setback at all. And I guess I don't have a problem with the 1.5 foot that we're talking about here. Other comments? If there are no other comments, then I'm looking for a motion to either approve or deny.
I'd like to make a motion, make a motion to approve the conditional use grant for the property at 247 Park Avenue, incorporating the planner's comments and the following comments from Public Works Director. That would include 1,
These are ones you want to include.
Exclude.
we could, okay, we want to exclude,
It's probably just easier to do the ones you want to include.
okay. So these are the ones.
Yeah, those are no's.
Okay.
Those are-
Yeah, so we want to include numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 11.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second. We have a motion with a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We have one opposed. Okay, so it has been approved. Thank you very much. Going to item, new business item number C, review and discussion and possible action on conditional use grant request of applicant Gavin and Annette Bogus to construct a 1,250 square foot attached garage and a second-story living space. The structure is proposed at 2.58 feet from the Cupmeyer Drive setback, which is permissible only through the issuance of a conditional use grant on the legal non-conforming lot, section 40.2104A. This 149 acre parcel located at 616 Cutmeyer Drive, property tax number PWV 0894044, is zoned R5 residential detached property. Property owners and applicants are Kevin and Annette Bogus.
Thank you. So similar to the last item, we do have a conditional use request as it relates to a legal non-conforming lot. In this instance, it is legal non-conforming, again, due to a number of reasons, for several of their setbacks. What the applicant is proposing to do is add a first floor garage, second floor living space onto the north side of the home, resulting in a little over a 2-foot setback. A number of examples, I was looking at that street again, when we talked about Park Avenue. We have another street here, where there are a number of non-conforming structures, especially north setback line. Here I have a couple examples immediately to the west. It's 20 Cotmeyer. You have a structure that sits almost on or potentially even over, it's hard to tell from the aerials, to that setback line. Here we have the aerial view for you. You can see that structure pushed right up to the street. And I have a couple more examples for you here, 5-6, where we have a structure very close to the corner. Again, basically full pavement driveway that's taking up that little bit of space. And then we have 2 more examples at 606 and 600, where they're accessory structures instead of primary structures. For example, we have primary structures in the area. These are garages in the area again. Very, very minimal setbacks. So the request for the 2 wasn't on, excuse me. Our 2-foot setback request is not out of character with the area. The applicant did provide some, drawings of the existing home and what it looks like. This could potentially be a nice addition to that structure. So I do have my typical conditions in it for you, but really, again, looking at this, again, it is consistent, I think, with the overall area that's being asked for.
Okay, commissioners?
I think probably the one street that's even worse than Park Avenue is Cotmeyer. I mean, everything I said before applies. Just put ditto marks behind that, Mackenzie, what I said before. So,
So no other questions then?
Just so that the commission knows that the house is currently for sale, so that if we approve it, that it goes with the property.
With that, is there a motion?
come on, I've done so much.
Do I get to include all of the 5 items?
I don't think DPW
no
has.
idea.
Oh, that's not this one. Sorry, that's extra.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the 616 Cotmeyer garage and living space addition, following the planning commissioner and engineer's recommendations.
Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a second, a motion with a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? That's been approved then also. Going to item number D under new business, review, discussion, and possible recommendation to the village board for planned unit development, overlay district amendment for Pewaukee self-storage to amend an existing planned unit development overlay and associated business site plan of operation amendment. This request is located at 229 Sussex Street, property key PWV 08989999001. The 15.786 acre property is zoned B5 Light Industrial District with a planned unit development overlay. The property owner and applicant is Pewaukee Self Storage LLC.
Thank you. So this originally came before Plan Commission back on August 14th, 2025, as a concept review and discussion. At that time, there was discussion from the applicant to potentially amend their original 2022 plan unit development. That plan unit development specifically specified cold, dry personal storage. A majority of the development was constructed, however, buildings 6, 7, and 8 were not constructed. Now the applicant is seeking to amend the construction for those buildings 6, 7, and 8. Instead of being cold, dry storage, they want to do climate-controlled storage units. So largely the units in them themselves, same location, largely going to look exactly the same as what was previously approved. The difference here is now that they would be conditioned air, so they have a little bit different rental market for the conditioned units than the cold, dry storage. In doing so, we have to amend the plan unit development for that request. We did provide to you this evening a copy of that draft plan unit development. Again, essentially what it does is it specifies, phase 1 was cold, dry storage only. Phase 2 for these additional buildings would now be permitted to be conditioned, climate-controlled storage. This is a recommendation to the village board. The village board at their next meeting will have to hold a public hearing and then would have the final determination on whether to approve that plan unit development amendment or not. No other site changes proposed. It's really just a change of dry to climate controlled. Otherwise, everything else will pretty much look and feel identical to what it does today.
The last time they appeared, I know we had discussion in regard to where the heating units would be and if there was shielding or, I don't recall all of it, but is that a point of discussion again?
Sorry, I didn't catch all of that.
Yeah, the heating units, I believe, were going to be put on the roof of,
I don't know if the site plan I don't think indicates, but I think we can get some clarification from the.
Patrick McGill, representing Milwaukee Self Storage, on my address. Yes, please.
yeah, please.
8710 Holman Ave, Munster, Indiana. Yeah, I don't think I addressed it on there, but it would be shielded on the backs, the north side of the property, so it wouldn't be on a roof or anything. That would be on the north side of the property, where it would not be able to be seen on the south side of it.
Okay.
The other aspects of the village code with respect to shielding, that type of equipment would still apply.
Oh, okay. Screening requirements would still apply.
Right, the general screening requirements.
So we wouldn't need to cite anything specific. No. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from commissioners?
Pretty much as discussed before.
Okay, do we have a motion then?
The one clarifying thing I would say is DPW did have comments on this, and this is sounding like I'm throwing Dave under the bus tonight, but it's not my intent. These came late before staff had a chance to review them all. The comments he had are really ones to be addressed in the current plan unit development. They're not to be addressed as part of the amendments here. There's not a relation between the two, so he understands that we're going to address that at a staff level, so we do not believe any of the conditions that he proposed need to be adopted.
Okay.
You have some questions regarding that? It's appropriate. It's probably more appropriate to deal with staff after the meeting, because they're not going to adopt any of those conditions. Okay. Something we should work through, though, with the existing planned unit development, and I would encourage you to address that with staff. Okay?
Good, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that the plan commission approve and recommend to the village board the business site plan of operation amendment for the Pewaukee Self Storage LLC for the property located at 229 Sussex Street, subject to the conditions presented by staff in packets along with exhibit A and B.
And the plan unit, you said the business site plan amendment, but you also included the plan unit development in that motion?
Yes.
And you said the staff comments, but that's excluding the DPW comments.
Correct, not including the 5.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? The planned unit development overlay has been approved. Going to E, review and discussion and possible action on a building and site plan amendment request of Nettie's Irish Pub for adding a covered stage on the existing deck. This request is located at 733 West Wisconsin Avenue, property tax number PWV 0894997. The 2.629 acre property is Zone B1 Community Business District. The property owner applicant is Scott Schaefer.
Thank you. Pretty straightforward request. We have an existing site plan of operation that governs this site. Applicant is looking to add a covered stage and ADA handicap accessible ramp up to that stage on the existing deck. So the footprint is largely unchanged, very minor additional footprint just where that ADA ramp is being placed. But otherwise, the primary change is to go to a little bit more nicer of a facility for their outdoor events than having a tent or something like that. So pretty straightforward update to their site plan of operation request to include that. No changes to hours of operations or any of that type of stuff. It's really just being allowed to put that permanent structure on that deck location and improve their business a little bit.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the commissioners? Okay, with that, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the addition to the covered porch, current decking at Nettie's Irish Pub with the planner's recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a motion with a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one? The site plan amendment has been approved. Item number 6, citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with commission members on any topic they choose. However, due to the Wisconsin open meeting laws, the commission is not able to answer questions or respond to your comments. All comments should be directed to the commission. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers are asked to use a podium and state their name and address. Is there anybody in the crowd that would like to speak? No? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion for adjournment. So moved.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Wow.
A motion with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one?
Sam has
Thank
nowhere
you
to
very
be.
much.
Sam
Everybody
has
have a good
children
night.
to put to bed.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Lots of work.
I hope you guys are kids.
I know.
I'm good, how are you?